Hello, everyone, and welcome to Real Conversations in the QC. I'm Redrick Terry. We're talking the holidays. In today's episode, we're going to learn more about Kwanzaa, a very important holiday in the lives and culture of many Black people. Learn more about some of the events happening this season at the Lincoln Center in Davenport. We'll have a special holiday-themed choir performance. And what are the holidays without a family meal? Our Real Conversations family got in the kitchen and whipped up some of our favorite dishes. We're also going to share why they're so important to us and our holiday traditions. But first, let's learn more about Kwanzaa, a yearly celebration of Black culture that starts right after Christmas. Here's Jasmine Butler.
All right, thanks for joining Real Conversations. Welcome back. Today I have Miss Ethelene Boyd here with me, who's also known as the mother of Kwanzaa. Thank you for joining us today,
My
Miss
pleasure.
So let's talk about Kwanzaa. I'm super excited. So this is a learning experience for me as well.
Okay.
So what is Kwanzaa?
Well, Kwanzaa is an African American cultural celebration where we seek to give to our children a knowledge and understanding of their heritage and their culture.
Mm-hmm.
I've been celebrating it for over 30 years, and each year is a new year for me too.
Mm-hmm.
I have to study some other aspect of it, or we engage in a program over at the Martin Luther King Center in Rock Island.
Mm-hmm.
So it's new, but I've even come to live Kwanzaa.
Yeah.
That and so studying it each year and participating and seeing the joy and the beauty of it.
You just learn more.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
it's ingrained.
So let's talk about the founder of Kwanzaa.
Dr. Maulana Karenga. He's a Black Studies professor at the University of California.
Mm-hmm.
And back in the 1960s, he was a college student, and things were really happening back there in our country. Things where rights were being just gotten and demanded and protested. But right in the height of that, in I think it was August of 1965, they had something in California called the Watts riots,
Mm-hmm.
and it was treacherous. So he, in response to what he went through and what he saw going on at that time, especially, he wanted to create a time that we could celebrate and we could, come to more of an understanding of what a rich heritage we had.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I'm about Dr. Karenga's age, so I was. That's when I started wearing my African clothing, to because the whole thrust was being proud,
Mm-hmm.
being Black, and I'm proud.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I think a lot of people don't know. So it's very educational to know that Kwanzaa was created and founded in the United States. Because a lot of people think that it's something that came from Africa, that African Americans start celebrating, but it was founded here in the United States in California.
Yes, it was. But the basis of it, Dr. Karenga has done research,
Mm-hmm.
marvelous research, and he's he set the celebration up so that it was fostered by the first fruits of the harvest season celebrations that they have in many African countries.
Mm-hmm.
They don't always do it the same way, but certain things are basic. And he set the basic, Kwanzaa agenda or celebration. He set it up based on the first fruits of the harvest.
Mm-hmm.
So the decorations, the structure, 7-day celebration, the time of year. Um, some people think that Kwanzaa is a Black Christmas, but it's not. We we celebrate Christmas, we celebrate Kwanzaa, or
Mhm.
the person doesn't, they don't. But they're not connected in terms of one or the other.
Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned that too, because growing up, it's this image that a lot of people you celebrate either or. You celebrate Kwanzaa or Christmas. You don't really think that you could celebrate both, but you actually can.
Oh, can you ever? My when I first was introduced to Kwanzaa, it was by my mentor, Betty Oni.
hmm
We had a group called Top Ladies of Distinction, and she had gone down to California to visit her son, who's a doctor there. And she came back and she was so excited. She said, "We've got to do this year." And this was a group of a ministry of women, working women who Black women who were um, who had careers and families, and she said, we've got to introduce this to the Quad Cities. So she told us about it. I ran out and got books, trying to find books and trying to find information. Went to the library, and there wasn't a lot available, but we had enough to put together our first celebration. And I'm sure this was about maybe 34 years ago. What we did, we invited all 3 of the TV stations. We invited Channel 4, Channel 6, and Channel 8.
hmm
And so they came over to my house where the celebration was to be. And we had it set up and had decorated like we encourage, like I still do at Kwanzaa time, putting up the black, blue, the black, the red, and the green, the Marcus Garvey flag.
hmm
We it was marvelous. I have pictures showing what it was like, and the stations, they were more than helpful in getting the message out to the community and sharing that. And we've been I've been a part of the Martin Luther King's Kwanzaa program for the last 22 years. So we still get just such good participation, feedback. People are just anxious to know about our heritage. Yes.
Yes, it's such a beautiful thing. So when is Kwanzaa celebrated? What month?
December 26th through January 1st. Each day, we set aside, the celebration is based on the Nguzo Saba, the 7 principles. And each day, on December 26th, we celebrate the first of the 7 principles, which is Umoja. And Umoja stands for unity.
Yes.
It means helping each other, stay together as families, communities, and a people. So on that day, when we greet each other, we say, "Habari gani?" And that means, "What news do you bring?" And
the language is Swahili.
Kiswahili.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. And the response to the greeting for that day is whatever the principle is for that day. So if it's the first day of Kwanzaa, it's Umoja.
Umoja.
And over dinner, we have our table set up to according to the Kwanzaa to aspects of Kwanzaa. We have a mat, a straw mat, a 7-prong candle holder called the Kinara.
So this is all still the first day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And the candles are there's a black candle in the middle, and there's on one side there are three red candles, the black in the middle, and then three green candles
On each side.
hmm
Right.
and a different one is lit each day of Kwanzaa or each evening when the celebration celebrations usually take place. We make it well, it's a joy, but we really make an effort to educate the children so that they grow up with this a strong sense of purpose and
pride.
yes, yes. Kwanzaa. I taught for 46 years at the Davenport School District, and I taught Kwanzaa every year. Sometimes I'd put on a program for the whole building. I remember doing that for Washington Elementary School. They even supported and encouraged me when we went to Africa to buy a school, to build a school. I'm sorry, to build it out of, wow, the clay dirt. Wow, they built it from the ground up.
Yeah,
It was
that's cool.
it was something to see. But that was September. I'm sorry, December 26th, the first day of Kwanzaa. The second day of Kwanzaa, when the greeting Habari Gani is given, the answer isn't Umoja, it's Kuchichagulia, and that means self-determination.
Self-determination.
Yes, and that principle reflects on our wanting to make sure we speak for ourselves, we name ourselves, we create for ourselves, and we don't let others create for us or or decide what our name will be. In our history as a country, we've been the name of our conquerors. In fact,
Yeah, we've had various names.
yes, and all of them weren't positive names.
Right.
So on day 2, we light the first red candle farthest away from the center, black candle. We use the black candle to light the red, and so that second day, 2 candles are burning. And
Do the candles continue to burn each day as we
each
progress?
day,
Okay.
I usually put mine on in the burn mine in the evening. We had COVID a couple of years ago, so we stopped for a while then. But Shelley Moore Guy and myself, and my daughter Willeen Owens, we put on the Kwanzaa out of our houses. My daughter had technical knowledge, and she had things set up so that we got it onto Facebook, and it was beautiful.
You guys had a Zoom Kwanzaa celebration.
Yes.
I love it.
And they encouraged us to continue doing that, and I think we did it for 2 years. Yeah.
So day 2 is
Kuchichagulia.
Kajalia. And then what is the so we have the second principle. So what is the second
The element.
elements? Yes.
Well, there are 7 elements, and it's and they're all on the table. The Mikeka, the placemat, which is the foundation or Africa. The Kinara, which is the format for our celebration with all the Kwanzaa principles, and with the one being emphasized each day. The Unity Cup. We have the cup, and when we would have our celebration at the Martin Luther King Center or at the Lincoln, the Third Missionary Baptist Lincoln Center. We'd have we'd have a speaker, usually me, come out and give a toast and say, we make a toast, dedicate the evening, acknowledging our ancestors, and the entire group would drink a toast at that time of water, or they may have had Kool-Aid.
Yeah, something. So the Unity Cup is day 3. What's the third principle then?
The Ujima. Ujima is collective work and responsibility. This means we should build our own structures, committees, take care of our own communities, and we should work together to solve our own problems. So when someone greets you with the Barigani on the third day, it's Ujima.
Ujima.
Yes. There's not a particular symbol that goes for each day. All the symbols are on the table at once, and you decorate your house lavishly. You just show the honor and the joy,
right,
in being a part of such a community as ours.
Yeah.
Also with collective work and responsibility, we're reminded that our problems aren't our problems alone. So we make it a point to, share with our family at night's discussion how Ujima is working in our homes. One of my sisters had become ill, and she needed to have a type of respite for a while, and so I was teaching at the time, so I left school and drove to Chicago to see about my 5 nieces and nephews, and I ended up bringing the 3 younger ones back to Davenport with me, and they stayed with me for 4 years. They went to school here, they went to church here, they did all the things
They learned about Kwanzaa.
Yes. And I have a picture of them on a Kwanzaa card that shows them as young children, and now they're grown-ups themselves with young children that they're sharing Kwanzaa with.
So then day 4?
Day 4 is Ujama.
Ujama.
That means we should build and maintain our own stores, our own shops, and our own businesses, and we should profit from them together.
So this is really community focused.
Community focused, yes. We sometimes have store entrepreneurs or storekeepers or people who work in business come in and share and speak on one of the Kwanzaa principles. When we have a program, we usually do it the night before the 7th day of Kwanzaa, and it's called Karama, where we have a big food dinner celebration. Usually when we're at the King Center, there are about 100 of us, and we have foods that are reflective of our heritage.
So we talked about the 4th principle. So that 4th primary symbol is the placemats.
The placemats that stays set up at all times.
Okay, stays up at all times.
So I probably the first day, mention to our family what, why things are set up like they're set up.
Mm-hmm.
And, we have a placemat, the Unity Cup, the flag, from Marcus
Marcus
Garvey.
Garvey.
On the fifth day of Kwanzaa, when you're greeted with Habari Gani, your answer is Nia.
Nia.
Nia means purpose. Do you know my granddaughter's name is Nia?
I know a few Nias. I have a
Yes.
cousin named Nia.
Yes. But since Nia stands for purpose, and our purpose should be to make our people and our community as great as they can be.
Mm-hmm. I love it. It's all surrounded about us becoming one unity. Yes.
Mhm.
I love it.
Yes. We can do this by taking care of our homes and communities and developing skills and knowledge of all our people.
Mm-hmm.
So Nia is celebrated when Habari Gani is asked on that fifth day of Kwanzaa. On the sixth day of Kwanzaa, it's Kuumba.
Kuumba?
Kuumba. And Kuumba means creativity. And as African American people, we should do as much as we can in our own unique way to make our homes and our communities more successful and more beautiful. So that's probably why you hear so many names. Yeah.
Yes, right?
Yes. On the seventh day,
Which is the last day.
It's Imani. Imani means faith.
I did not know that.
Yes.
That's what Imani
And we strive to show that we believe with all our hearts in the worth of African Americans, and we believe in the struggle that we've gone through and the victory of our people. So the faith is related to that, and not we're many different denominations. I happen to be Baptist, but some of the people who celebrate Kwanzaa, various faiths, and some no faith. So
Yeah.
oh,
That's what I love the most about Kwanzaa, because when we had our previous meeting, I asked who can celebrate Kwanzaa. So literally everyone can celebrate it. It doesn't matter if you're Black, white, Hispanic, what country you're from. Everyone can come, and it's really about a unity and a community growing, learning, educating together.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
For a number of years, we had programs over at, I think it was Augustana, where they celebrated Kwanzaa, and we'd make it a point to go to their celebration. And what was it, United Neighbors, I believe? They would have a Kwanzaa celebration every year, and we would go to that. So the community, we go to various. And we celebrate in our home, but we celebrate in our churches and in our businesses and wherever we are.
Yeah.
Yep.
Beautiful. So then, so I know that you said that it doesn't matter like what your religion is or what holidays you celebrate, you can still implement Kwanzaa in some way, shape, or form.
Yes.
So, Ms. Etheline, why did you personally start celebrating Kwanzaa?
Well, as I mentioned, my mentor brought it to me, brought it to our group, and we just I'm a teacher by nature, so it was fine with me to learn. I learn as much as I teach.
Yeah.
And to spread something that I truly believe in.
Mhm.
I've come to really uh, believe in the value and the worth of Kwanzaa
Mm.
and how it lifts our people up, and how joyful the children are when they're taught something that is uniquely theirs as a
Mhm.
holiday. Um, and like I said, I see it being a part of the community and a growing part of it every year.
Mhm. Yes. So how did your family embrace celebrating Kwanzaa?
Well, we had the celebrations at our house, and so they would help me. When I told them uh, what we were going to do, they were all up to having me decorate. It's like, oh, we can decorate early December. This is a good thing,
Yeah.
you know.
Well,
So,
do you have your Christmas tree and stuff up already?
um, no, I don't. I, I put my tree up a little later than I do um, um, my Kwanzaa.
Mhm.
But the decorations for Kwanzaa, they're up and apart. My house is it has Christmas decorations and it has Kwanzaa decorations,
Mhm.
and each has their own room or their own part of the house where we acknowledge and celebrate.
Mhm.
Um,
So your family was just all in?
oh yes, my my daughter, my youngest daughter, who is now a teacher. She she was growing up, and so when we would set a program up, uh, I'd often need we do a little skit or something to to welcome our guest, and she was so much a part of that. It's good to see.
So your children now are implementing that to their children,
Their
whether that's
communities.
their community. So that's beautiful.
Yep. Um, um, the I had when we were talking about these symbols of Kwanzaa, um, I mentioned the crops, the vegetables and fruit, the mat, makeka, and the kanara, the candle holder, and the mshuba, saba, 7 candles, the mahindi, the corn.
So what does the corn represent?
The corn represents the children, and an ear of corn for each child in your family. So if you had 4 children, you'd have 4 ears of corn.
Mhm.
But if you had no children, you would still have 1 ear of corn, because everyone is in our community is their parents to our children.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, I love that. So it's like it goes back to that saying, it takes a village. So that's what that
exactly,
represents.
exactly.
Okay.
Um, and like I said, the last gift, the last symbol was zawadi, which are the gifts, and they're usually books or educational material,
Mhm.
and they're symbolic of the love and the labor of the parents, um, and the commitments that each child has made and has kept. We have we usually end our program uh, at the King Center when we uh, have our toast, and we uh, go back and sit at the tables and get our and have our feast.
Mhm.
And before we dismiss, we will sometimes say the African pledge,
Mhm.
and I can say it for you.
Yes, please say it.
The African pledge. We are an African people. We will remember the humanity, glory, and suffering of our ancestors. We will honor the struggles of our elders. We will strive to bring new values and new life to our people. We will have peace and harmony among us. We will be loving, sharing, and creative. We will work, study, and listen so we may learn, and we may learn so that we may teach. We will cultivate self-reliance. We will struggle to resurrect and unify our homeland. We will raise many children for our nation. We will have discipline, patience, devotion, and courage. We will live as models to provide new directions for our people. We will be free and self-determining. We are an African people, and we will win, we will win, we will win.
Ms. Ethelene, thank you so much for joining Real Conversations today and teaching us about Kwanzaa. I have learned so much these past couple of days speaking with you, and I definitely want to implement Kwanzaa to my community. So this is beautiful.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you
Yes.
for having me.
Thank you.
There are a lot of events happening across the Quad Cities related to the holidays, and that includes at the Lincoln Center. For the details, here's Kofi Adams and Tracy Singleton.
Thanks for joining us again. I'm here with Kofi Adams, here with Tracy Singleton, Executive Director at the Lincoln Center. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Tracy, you guys have a pretty exciting holiday event coming up. I know that Understand It has a new title this year.
Yeah, so Christmas in the Village has been traditionally our event for celebrating Christmas at the Lincoln Center, but for a few reasons, we decided this year to change it to Holidays in the Village. For one, there is another Christmas in the Village event here that people would get it confused with. And also there are some people who don't celebrate the Christmas holiday, but they do celebrate holidays.
Right.
So we have decided this year to rebrand it and call it Holidays in the Village.
That's awesome. And it makes it, like you said, a little more inclusive, in that way. If I don't celebrate Christmas or only celebrate Christmas, it shows.
Come there, right?
Yeah.
It also gives us the opportunity to add a few elements.
Yeah.
Instead of focusing just on Christmas, we can now add in the component of Kwanzaa,
Okay.
and also the traditions of New Year's Eve.
Sure. And I know we, off camera before, we were talking a little bit about some of those traditions. And so talk about a little bit of those, because I'm familiar with the, Black Eyed Peas, on
Yep.
New Year's Eve and all that. So.
Well, there's a lot of history that goes back to what was called watch night services.
Sure.
And that really goes back to slavery and staying indoors on New Year's Eve to avoid what could possibly happen if you were out and about. But Black Eyed Peas is definitely a tradition to bring in the new year on a good note and to give yourself good luck for the year. So now that you've mentioned it, we may have some Black Eyed Peas there for people to sample, right?
That's awesome. And I know you were telling me a little about what, pickles and peppermint.
Right. So the first year that we did this, I really wanted to make it very cultural to the Black culture. But growing up here in the Quad Cities and being of mixed race, I didn't have a lot of exposure to some of those cultural traditions. So I did a lot of digging, a lot of research. And what kept popping up was pickles and peppermint sticks. And my husband is from Chicago, so I had to turn and say, is this really a thing?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, it's a thing. And so we have a pickle and peppermint station each year at Christmas in the Village, where we buy the big pickles and you put a peppermint stick in it and you let it sit for a little bit to kind of soften. And then you just start eating. And I've heard mixed reviews. I've heard people say it's good.
Sure.
Some people are like, oh, it's not for me.
Yeah.
So, but it is that opportunity to try it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's two things that I like both.
Okay.
I never thought about
Well, you'll have to
together. Yeah, exactly. I have to figure out exactly what that's like. And I know, we mentioned it being, more inclusive, and some of that, the intention with that, with, like you said, we're being very intentional with the directions and activities. Can you expand a little more on those?
Well, I just really saw a need for a cultural celebration of the holidays, because in respect to the different cultures that we have, people do celebrate it in different ways. And to have just a blanket celebration of the holidays in our community, we were missing the mark on it. So as the Lincoln Center, whose mission and vision is to be the hub for the African American community, it just made sense for us to do one that was more culturally specific for the Black culture. So we have the tree decorating contest that features Black nonprofits in the community and gives them an opportunity to raise money for their organization. We have Santa with elves. We do letters to Santa. We give out books that are representative for our kids. We do family photos, which I don't know when, before this, I don't know when the last time I had a family photo.
Sure.
Now me and my husband, we make it, it's our tradition now. We do our pictures in our Christmas pajamas.
That's awesome.
And then we go out to eat in our pajamas.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So we've developed our own tradition off of this. But more importantly, it's all about representation. I remember last year, I'll never forget this. He had to have been maybe 3 or 4 years old, and he saw a Black Santa.
Oh, sure.
And he stood there for the longest time just looking.
Yeah.
And then he turned to his mom and said, he looks like me. And so then I know, okay,
Right.
this is what we're supposed to be doing.
Sure. And like you said, we talked a little bit before, about how this, all got started. And you said it exactly.
Yeah, I just saw the
Saw a
need.
need.
Yep, I saw a need for it. And at the Lincoln Center, we do our best to be there for our community, for that neighborhood,
Sure.
and to provide these opportunities that they might not normally have.
Right. And I know I'll hop back a little bit. We were talking about the traditions, and your new family tradition there. What are some of your favorite traditions for the holiday?
Well, as I was sharing with you, I'm of mixed race. My mom's Mexican, and that's a whole thing on Christmas Eve, right?
Yeah.
And so I've kind of picked up where my mom and then my grandma left off. So we celebrate Christmas Eve. Piñata, tacos, enchiladas, tamales. That's what we got for Christmas gifts, right? We're tamales, and we exchange our gifts on Christmas Eve. With my children, as they got older, because my kids are grown, but I was still getting Christmas lists, right?
Right. Yeah. Yep.
And so I've been doing this for about 10 years now. We call it the 4 gifts of Christmas. So it's a gift they want, a gift they need, a gift to wear, a gift to read.
Okay.
And so each person gets 4 gifts that fall into that category. But then they also get Santa gifts.
Sure.
So it's that one
Santa's got to come.
right. So it's that one gift that maybe they had mentioned that
Sure.
they didn't think they were going to get. Yeah. And that's the Santa gift.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Those are great. I meant to ask too earlier. You said you and your husband or the Christmas pajamas. We go out to eat. Has it been the same restaurant, or do you go to?
We go to different restaurants. Okay. But I will tell you, my husband's complete opposite of me. I have no problem throwing on the reindeer ears and and he's a little bit more subdued than I am. But people will always come up and they'll be like, "Oh, you guys look so cute," or "I wish I could get my husband to do this." So now he's really getting
more. Yeah. Is he giving the good response? Or he's like, "I wish I didn't have to."
No, the response. We're having the Christmas pajama conversation yesterday. Like, "Oh, we got to go get some new ones."
Yeah, that's fun. I like that. That's awesome. And I know you mentioned too, with the trees, you mentioned you have about three different trees.
Right. So we have our tree decorating contest.
Sure.
But we also have 3 trees for the Lincoln Center.
Okay.
So we do a traditional Christmas tree with the popcorn garland and the cranberries and the candy canes. We also have a Kwanzaa tree that is decorated in the colors of Kwanzaa and have ornaments around the principles of Kwanzaa.
Sure.
But for me, probably the tree that can involve the community is our Black Lives Matter tree.
Okay.
And that is decorated in all black, and we do give people from the community an opportunity to write the name of a loved one on an ornament.
Oh, sure.
And then that is on display at the Lincoln Center.
That's great, and that's a good way to kind of commemorate those lives that they have lost.
Right.
That's awesome. I love that. I know too. You mentioned some of the entertainment going on this year.
Yep. So last year was our first Tria Entertainment.
Sure.
And we featured a couple of local singers that sang Christmas songs, and we had a couple of dance teams. So we're looking to do more of that this year. But we just recently had our Halloween event, and this was the first time that we played a movie in the auditorium.
Oh, sure.
And it actually was really popular.
Yeah.
Kids were wanting to go in. So we may do something like that as well. Mm-hmm.
That's great. And you mentioned the family photos.
Free family photos. Listen, well, kind of free. There's you can make a donation. You can donate whatever you want for your photo. But I started that because I had to think about my family. And when was the last time we took a family picture?
Right.
And so we set up a really nice backdrop. We hire a professional photographer to come, and they'll take some images. Like I said, you make a donation, and then they email the images to you for you to use as you want to use them, whether it's a Christmas card, Facebook profile page. I always say this is the perfect time to pull out those Christmas sweaters, the ugly Christmas sweaters, Christmas pajamas, right? this is a perfect opportunity, or get dressed up in your formal wear and take a picture, because this is a professional photographer that's doing that. And so this year we're hoping for more families to get involved in that and to have that. And we're doing it early enough this year. It's December 9th. So that if you want to use them for Christmas cards, you can use them and get your Christmas cards out.
That's awesome.
Yep.
And then what are the hours for it?
It's from 1 to 5 on Saturday, December 9th.
That's awesome. Down, of course, at the Lincoln Center.
At the Lincoln Center.
That's beautiful. I know we've kind of touched on it a little bit, but I wanted to ask you more directly, with what is the importance of this event to you? I know the inclusion, representation, just wanted to kind of phrase it that way and say, hey, what's the main thing that you really love?
For me, it's our community coming together to celebrate our culture. I get the whole, we don't see color, but some people, you do. You see your own color.
Sure.
And you realize that you're in spaces that aren't necessarily created for you.
Sure.
And so that's all we're trying to do at the Lincoln Center. I mean, our mission is very simple, and that is to educate and empower our youth families and communities. And how we are empowering them are through these culturally relevant events that they know when they walk in the door that this was created for you.
Sure.
By you. And that everything there is because of you.
That's awesome. And like you said, that's sort of the little boy, like that's powerful, because it's something that you might not think about.
Exactly. That it matters, but it does.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, that's great. Well, everything sounds awesome. We're definitely going to be excited to hear how it goes, check it out. And so, you guys definitely have to check it out as well.
Of course, we are celebrating holidays and the traditions that come with them here on Real Conversations. And nothing really says holiday tradition like some of the food that we eat during the time that we spend with our family, friends, and loved ones. And the whole team's here as we have assembled all of the meals and the dishes that are part of our holiday traditions, and we're here to share those with you. And if smell-o-vision was a thing, let me tell you, you would be feeling what we're feeling right now. It is fantastic in here. So let's just kind of go down the line and talk about what we brought and what the significance is to your holiday traditions.
All right. Well, I had to bring, when we had the conversation, first thing came to my mind was my mom's and grandma's greens. Collard greens. Now, I know a lot of families, they mix the collard greens and the mustard greens, and that's good.
Yeah.
But nothing like collard greens. So I had to do that. And by the way, I did make them myself. So so I brought that. So that's a staple at our house all the time is collard greens along with the rest of everything. But that's why I brought that.
Absolutely. All right, Tracy?
So in my house, I do all the cooking. And so I have to cook a little bit of everything. But what I most requested to bring, other than the holidays, are my macaroni and cheese and my banana pudding. So the macaroni and cheese is a baked macaroni and cheese. The banana pudding, it's not your traditional. In fact, the name of it is called Nacho Mama's banana pudding. So it's not your traditional banana pudding, which I'm not a big banana eater. I don't like bananas, but I do like the banana pudding. So that's what I chose to bring today.
Yeah, it's delicious. All right, Jasmine?
So I bought the dressing, and in every Black household, you have to have dressing.
Oh, yeah.
So this is a family recipe of ours. I did not cook it. My mom did. But it's so delicious. I love it. And then I also bought some cranberry sauce, but it's not your traditional cranberry sauce that you would find in the grocery stores. It's one that my grandmother makes, and it has pecans and fresh cranberries and maybe some bourbon. And some pecans in it, and it's so delicious. And then sweet potato pie. We have to have sweet potato pie for my family holidays, Christmas and Thanksgiving, and that's just, I can sit there and eat the whole pie.
Yeah.
So I can't wait for you guys to try it.
It's a staple. It's a staple, no doubt. Yeah, and you brought the cranberry sauce. We should also mention Tracy bought the canberry sauce. Too,
Yes.
Because, listen, that stuff is good. Yeah, that stuff is good right out of the can, I'm telling you. All right, what you bring?
So, as you all know, I am a phenomenal chef from the great state of Michigan. I brought in the dinner roll. Right? Because
there we go.
in the Denton household, whether it's like Thanksgiving or Christmas, we always have the dinner roll. my parents always say, when we sit down, we are breaking bread together. And so to remember them that way, I brought in this delicious dinner roll that everyone has on their plate. I just want to say.
Yeah, we all have them, and they look good too.
Yes.
I knew the assignment.
Kofi, what about you?
All right, so I brought in my grandmother's. Apparently, it is a sweet corn bake. I never knew there was an official title. I just knew growing up, I wanted the corn stuff, and then I finally called it a corn casserole. And then that was once we talked about your favorite holiday, food. That is immediately what my mind went to. So.
Absolutely.
That is what I brought in.
Absolutely. And then I brought in a pineapple upside down cake. And that is, one of my grandmother's go-to dishes when she was alive. Obviously, she would cook on Sundays for everybody. And obviously the holidays were a huge part of that. The house was always filled, and it was filled with love. And you can always something about these dishes, that love that's into it. You can taste it, right? And it makes a huge difference. And so my mother also made this, so because she knows how to make all the stuff that my grandma once made, which is also important to be passing those recipes along. But absolutely looks delicious, all of it. So let's dig in.
Yes.
All right.
Are we eating like the same thing first, or
Do we want to? You know what? My eyes are on the mac and cheese because
So
mac
we're
and
all going mac
cheese
and cheese?
is like my go-to.
Dressing,
every time.
gotta start with the
get some
dressing
dressing.
first and
Oh,
get a little all together.
Like in the mac and
That's
cheese.
really good.
Yeah, it
I'm
looks-
telling you, this is why they'll call me and be like, Tracy, bring it. And we'll be eating tacos. I'll be like, macaroni and cheese doesn't go with taco. I know, just make it.
Sure it
Just
does.
make
Like-
it.
Make it work.
That's delicious. And especially with baked mac and cheese, people use multiple different cheeses and things like that. So, what do you use in yours?
I use 3 different cheeses. I make mine with the traditional Velveeta, but I also add provolone and pepper jack to it as well.
That's
it is really
wonderful.
good.
And that Velveeta makes a big difference
Yes,
with
it
the
does.
texture and all that. So,
Jasmine, I love this dressing. I'm
Yeah.
a dressing snob, I'll tell you.
yeah. And dressing,
it.
yeah, Jasmine, you mentioned dressing is a staple in a lot of Black families' holiday meals. And one of the things I think that is so appealing about it, it's not just your bread, right? You got a little bit of everything. You got a little bit of vegetable in it. You got a little
Yeah.
bit of meat in it.
Yeah, there's chicken in this.
Chicken in this one, okay?
Right.
Yeah. It's
very good.
The flavor is amazing.
Yes, it
I
is.
tell you though, there's so much history with soul food and why it is the way it is. And a lot of it you can take back to slavery days when they only had so much to work with. And they had to make it work. Hush puppies are called hush puppies because they would fry cornmeal because someone would take a little bit from the house and then they would deep fry it, but the dogs would start barking because it smelled good.
Right.
And so they would throw them a little bit, and that's how the name hush puppy
They
came
hushed them.
about.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
There you go. Good education.
Yes.
Incredible.
Good. I think going back to what we had talked about, the love that goes into it. I mean, part of the ingredients. That's it. Might have a little pepper here, a little hot sauce there, but the love that's made with it. And I remember being young and running through the kitchen with, the mom and grandma and the aunts, get out of here now, get out of here. The smells, but and you just couldn't wait. So
Yeah.
I just love that.
So one thing I don't do is cook the week of Thanksgiving. Like, I'm not cooking any other food.
Oh, other than Thanksgiving.
Other than
Yeah,
Thanksgiving,
correct.
no
Yeah, okay.
breakfast, no dinner, because it's when you cook like the whole meal, it's like a process. I used to try to cook it all in one day, but I've learned over the years that I kind of got to pace myself
Yeah.
and make things ahead of time that I can make ahead of time.
Yeah.
Cut vegetables and stuff up, a couple of days before, and then I do most of my cooking, and I'm sure all of you guys can attest to it. I do most of my cooking the night before.
Yeah.
I'm up all night,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
up early
The next day. Yeah.
yeah. But we each have a traditional Thanksgiving dinner. We're not eating at 1 or 2 o'clock. We're eating like at 5 or 6.
Yeah.
To give me the day.
Exactly, because it is a process, and it's always weird because obviously you eat dessert last, but dessert is usually always the first meal, the first part of the meal that's done, right? You get that done ahead of time, and then go off to the rest of it. But
Yeah.
it is absolutely delicious. Ed, what's your favorite holiday course besides the bread?
The roll.
Was it that obvious? No, for Thanksgiving, my mom would always go extra in the kitchen when she made her mac and cheese. And just like we said earlier, I could tell that the main ingredient was love because she knew that was my favorite dish. And so being able to sit down and eat it with her right there, it was always my favorite holiday growing up, actually.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday by far.
Yeah.
Obviously, any holiday that you're spending time with the people that are close to you, that's really what matters. But there's something about Thanksgiving when you get together, you're all sharing a fantastic meal, you're all sharing stories, laughs, you're watching football.
Yep.
You know, it's just there's just something about it that's just really special.
Yeah.
You're missing on something too, because with ours, there's game day. So playing games. My mom loves to play games.
Yes.
And her number one game, you probably heard of the game board, Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, so mom don't care who you are. She going, I mean, no mercy. From the
She's
time we were
ruthless,
young to, I mean, she would just, but every time from the time I was a kid to now when we go home and stuff, that you know that board's coming out. You know, she finally had to get a new board because it was just getting so worn. The cards, you couldn't shuffle the cards at all anymore. But yeah, those are some great memories there.
Absolutely. Anybody else have a favorite holiday time tradition that your
Yeah.
family does?
So what we do for Thanksgiving, we first of all, before we bust the food, we hold hands and we go around and say what we're thankful for.
See, I thought we only did
No.
that thing.
Yeah. So that's, you just kind of reflect from the whole year and what you're thankful for. And usually all of us, we say family. We're thankful for family because we are very close knit. And then we always have a Soul Train line, or we end up playing karaoke or something along those lines. So we always have fun. There's dancing, there's full laughs, some spades, maybe some dominoes. So
Yes.
yeah, that's how we are. And then it's pretty much the same thing for Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wonderful stuff. What about you, Kothi? Favorite holiday tradition that your family takes part in?
I think growing up, I really remember doing Christmas the night, so Christmas Eve. So, doing everything
Yeah.
on Christmas Eve, going over to my grandma's house. Tim touched on, walking into the kitchen and everything smells good. When I picked up the corn, it was like that too, because I came into the garage and I could smell it right away. I was like, ooh, like that's. So I think some of that really just, when you're younger, you might not realize because a lot of the people are still there. And then when you get a little older and some of those people are no longer there anymore, it becomes a little bit different, but you can still remember a lot of those happier memories of the holidays. So
Wonderful. Absolutely. Well, I think we're all into this food and we could be here for a long time, but I think we should switch to dessert now
Yes.
as we continue on our culinary journey, our holiday culinary journey, and it's quite the journey, I tell you that much. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna try the banana. What did you say, Tracy?
Nacho
Mamas.
Mama's
That's
banana
beautiful.
pudding.
Love
Yes.
it. And what kind of cookie is this on top?
It's the chessman cookie, so it's like a shortbread. Yeah.
That is good.
Okay, somehow that didn't make my plate. I don't know what
didn't-
happened here. Oh, well. We'll try that later today.
You know what, Tim? I'm so angry because on my dinner plate there are no greens. What happened to the
What
greens?
happened to the greens?
I even told him I need some hot sauce to go with this, and I forgot to put it on my plate.
Oh, see, okay.
That's okay. We'll circle back.
Circle back.
We will circle back.
This
No,
banana pudding is delicious.
fantastic.
it's very good.
Yeah, no, it tastes great because some people put the vanilla wafers on
Yeah.
top.
No, I remember watching my dad make banana pudding, and it seemed very labor intensive.
Yeah.
They
Oh,
were
yeah.
boiling and baking and everything else. And this is it's a very simple recipe. You just got to combine Cool Whip, condensed milk, cream cheese, and vanilla pudding. And you just mix it all up and spread it over some bananas and cookies. And it is really good.
Yeah.
I will say this pineapple upside down cake is very good.
Yeah.
Yes, it's very good.
Yes, that is another.
is.
It's it was a staple, like I said, of my grandmother's, and much like it's upside down, obviously is in the name. That's pretty much how you prepare it, right? You put your shortening in the pan so it doesn't stick, obviously. Then you put your butter down, and then you put some brown sugar, and then you put your pineapples, and then your cake mix on top of it, and then you bake it all. Bake it in the oven. I think it's about half an hour, 30 minutes or so. And then right when it comes out, about 5 minutes later, but you don't want it to get too cool
Right.
so it can flip over and everything is all caramelized at the top. Some people do cherries on theirs as well, but my grandmother was never a fan of the maraschino cherries. So mom was like, should I put those on there? I'm like, no, that's exactly just like how grandma used to do it. So yes, it was fantastic. Now I'm going to get into the sweet potato pie.
This sweet potato pie is, I mean, this is bringing back some memories, you know.
Yes.
And I tell you, I love sweet potato pie, even when you can have it with some leftover turkey too. You know, on the side, you know, put it together and thing. But this is really good.
Yes, it is. It's my aunt's recipe. So I called her up, and she loves making it, and it's delicious. Yeah. I literally, like I said, can sit there and eat all of the filling out.
All you need is a scoop of ice cream on this.
Or whipped cream.
Or some whipped cream.
So Tim touched upon something. He talked about leftovers, and I think the leftovers are always more popular than, because I know my kids anyway. They would come up with these weird combinations. So they have spaghetti mac, where they would take the spaghetti and mix it with
pretty
the
good.
mac and cheese. They would never do it that dinner. It would always be the leftovers that they would do it. So
For me, it's like the seasons sit
Settle,
in, and
exactly,
they settle, and it's like,
yes.
it's good today, but tomorrow?
It's even better.
Yeah, exactly right.
So we touched on it a little bit earlier, but you know, a lot of these dishes have recipes that have come from previous generations of our families, and there's just something to keeping those traditions alive. And it's hard work. It's not easy, but that's just, I think, incredibly important for our families and our culture in general. Yes, no, lots to be thankful for on this holiday season, and hopefully we gave some of you some ideas on how to celebrate with your loved ones and the fantastic food that can be a part of that celebration. Now, a special performance just in time for the holidays. Here's Jerry Johnson and Voices of the QC.